Oh, hey, Professor Dave here. This is a follow-up video to one I did previously where we made a three-way elbow out of sub Ds. However, some people said it wasn't perfectly circular, and they were right. So I've done a couple little bit of hacks and practices and testing, and I think we have a solution, which I'm going to share with you now. So here is the sub Ds that we did last time. Notice that the boxes are all perfectly square or cube-shaped. And when we hit the tab key, they should be super smooth. However, they're not perfectly round. Let's talk about what's going on and how to fix it. I'm first going to go over to prove my case just by doing a simple sub D face. We'll draw the face over here. I'm using the grid snap. And I'm just going to make sure it's 20 by 20. Now, when you hit the tab, it's a perfect square, as are the cubes. But when you hit smooth mode, it's not a perfect circle. And I can prove it if we just draw a circle right there. Snap to the center. And we can see that's a little bit off as it goes around. However, there's a really easy fix. So we can't get perfect circles from the squares or the single faces. So I'm going to delete that. But we can get perfect circles with some lines. So right now this is, turn the control points on, a degree 2 circle. Let's first change it to degree 3 and then make it sub D friendly, and then you might be surprised how well this works. So I'm going to click on that circle, go over to the Edit Rebuild. This is a fantastic command to change the degrees of both surfaces and curves. So I'm going to leave the point count the exact same 8, and there we're going from degree 2 to 3. And make sure you click Make Sub D Friendly. That'll save an extra step later. So it should now change the degree, but not vary in the radius whatsoever. Hit OK. Now to prove that this can be used for sub D geometry, I'm going to go ahead and just hit the extrude. Okay, so you may think, it's just a NURBS cylinder. Wrong. This is a sub D surface. We'll hit the tab key, and now you can see the box mode and exactly what happened. This is one part of the solution. There's actually two parts. How I got this elbow, three-way elbow, to be perfect circles in all directions. All right, let's come over to one leg here. Okay, here we are on one of the pipe ends, and I drew this horizontal line across. And I found out that the 4 quadrants, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 and 9 o'clock, are all correct. It's the in-between areas where it pulls away, and you'll see that in a moment. So I'm going to get a circle in this area, and we'll see some of the gaps right away. So I'm going to pick just a standard circle. I'm going to select vertical and deformable. This will give me a degree 3 curve, typically, and point count 8. That is critical. So I'm going to start at the midpoint and snap on that endpoint. And now you can see the gaps that occur on the 45-degree areas between each of the quadrants. Now this is a degree 3 curve. I can verify that with the control points on. However, there's always a step to make sure it is sub D friendly. Let's do that. So under sub D tools, we're going to click on this awesome icon. It looks like a little heart. Okay, select the curve. Right click. Now nothing visually happened, but let's just call it some math magic. So I'm going to zoom back a little bit here and grab that curve. And I'm just going to do kind of a random extrusion. So it looks like it's just a basic NURBS cylinder. But wait, I'm going to hit the tab key, and we just made a sub D accurate circular surface. So the question is now, how do we connect these things? I'm going to take this curve, turn off the control points. I think I'll just go ahead and move it out of the way. There we go. So this was quite a challenge until I realized that this surface here, the three-way elbow, could be subdivided. And that would take all these boxes and go from 4 to exactly 8. So we're going to click on that. The subdivide command, not to be confused with sub Ds in general, is up here. So it's going to subdivide it. It's just going to cut everything in half both directions. Now we are really close. You can see that we've got some vertexes that are lining up really nicely. And finally, we're just going to join these two up, and we can do that with the stitch command. So it's right over here. We're going to stitch edges or vertices. So select the first vertex or set. I'm just going to zoom in here and double click so that went all the way around. Now it already finished the loop, so I don't have to hit enter or OK. So I can now carefully hit the other side, double click. Now it's about ready to stitch, and it wants to know where. And the second one is where I want it to match, because the second one was the one we made from the circle, and it was in the correct position. So we're going to say the location will be the second. Visually, though, it still looks pretty much the same. So let's check this out. So we've got 8-sided 3-way pipe. And if we move this original circle back over, hit the tab key, it's perfectly touching everywhere. Okay, bonus tip here. Let's look at this back corner, and I want to share a bonus tip. So if we go to the tab, we have an area that may appear to some people not as smooth as it potentially could be. So I came up with a little hack here. I'm going to go to the ghost mode. I'm going to draw a construction line from, that should be on vertex. There we go. So from that vertex there to the center of that back elbow. And now we have basically I guess a guideline is the best way to put it. So if this is not smooth enough, you think it's a little too squarish, we can push that in, but you want to do it carefully. This is kind of the 3-way symmetry. I want to pick the 3 faces, and I could move the gumball, but I think I'm just going to use the Rhino Move tool. This is the basic one here on the menu. And I like that because it gets me the ability to just click on a from point, and now we're sliding down on that curve. And so we've pulled the whole assembly inwards. And if I hit tab, you can now see it's a little more rounded off. So that gives you an opportunity to still do edits on that. And you have a perfect circular 3-way pipe junction.